Alright guys, today we're going to talk about Homestuck. I know. Bear with me here. It's going to be good. Homestuck. That's what today's vlog is going to be about. No spoilers or anything. This is just to talk about some of the things, like why I feel people don't like Homestuck. And it's not for everyone. I'll totally own up to that. But also why it's not awful or anything. I just have a lot of feels about Homestuck, and we're going to talk about Homestuck. Which, if you Google now, it'll probably take you to the page, but it didn't always. Go to MS Paint Adventures. Here, I have it pulled up on my screen. It's at mspaintadventures.com. It's this thing here. This is the first page, you know. And, it's GIFs. And then you just, like, you read the bit, and then you're like, oh, click next page. And oh, look, you're at the next page. Rah! Homestuck is really cool, actually. It's a little complicated, and I think one of the reasons that people don't seem to like it is because Homestucks have a hard time explaining what it's all about. Which is understandable. Now, put this in perspective with me. If you tried to explain Doctor Who regenerating, when it was like the first thing of its kind, if you tried to explain radioactive Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, anyone? If you tried to explain crazy hairstyles and magic powers from anime to people who have never seen it before, it's gonna be really hard, and the people are gonna be like, what the heck are you talking about? Homestuck does that. It's its own thing, and it's hard to explain to someone who's, like, never seen it before. I had a friend who, like, was about to start reading Homestuck, and he was on that first page, and it says enter name, right? So he sat there trying to type a name instead of clicking next page, which is totally understandable. I mean, it kind of threw me off for a few minutes, too. That's one of the things about Homestuck. It's a whole new thing. It's one of the few comics I've seen where you see self-insertion of, like, the creator and breaking of the fourth wall, and it's not cliche, and it's actually relevant to the plot, and it's actually really good and funny and great. Like, that's hard to do, man. Imagine trying to explain the plot and all of the depth of, say, The Lord of the Rings, when all you have is the first half of The Hobbit. Shut up. They tie into each other. It counts. Homestuck isn't complete. We don't necessarily know where it's going. When something's complete, you can look at it and go, okay, you went from point A to point B, that was the overarching goal or whatever, things didn't change. Like, no, we're still figuring out where the crap we're going. Did I mention it's ridiculously long? Oh, but it's so good. Like, that's one of the hard things about Homestuck. You can't explain it without getting sucked up into details or spoiling something. Which is why I think a lot of people don't like it, is because strange things that you can't explain, people don't like those. Until they try them, and then they get sucked into them, or they just hate it more. Now, the other thing I said, you know, it is long. It is super freaking long. I think I passed the point a little while ago where the comic literally got over 9,000 pages. Yes, that meme is used. Yes, it is wonderful. Tactfully used, too. Not necessarily overdone. I like it. But yeah, this thing is huge. And there are some pages where you're reading these things called pester logs, which are basically text of dialogue and whatnot. That's where you get the speaking parts, mostly. You know, you get the visual and the little GIFs, and then you read it. In some. And some of the pages are just like a single little image, and you click next, and it's like a still image or whatever. And other ones, you're like, there's like 7 pages of reading to do. And sometimes you get, oh, there's this thing called sound pages. They're amazing. Sometimes those things run for a long time. Like, I think there was like a 20-minute sound page one recently, and it was like it's a flash, you know, and it's glorious, but it is long. It's a really long comic. So if you don't like long things, no, it's not for you, and that's okay. It is not straightforward. If you like things that you're like, oh, this happened and then this happened, if you like to be able to follow the tropes easily and stuff like that, yeah, no, that's not Homestuck. Homestuck is where you sit there and you theorize even as you're reading through it, and you, like, know that there's already something set in stone as you're going, but you're still theorizing because you can't stop it. Like, if you like mysteries and puzzles and confusing stuff, Homestuck is amazing. But if you like things being, like, clear and proper and easily understood, no, Homestuck is not for you. It has the slowest start ever. Like, I am notorious for hating things that start slow. I start a story and I'm just like, it's slow. But once you find something that hooks you, if you're reading Homestuck, you just go. Like, it's kind of addictive. It's, you can't stop. Like, once I catch up, I don't know what I'm gonna do, because really sporadic updates kind of bug me. Oh, and also, if you're having a hard time getting sucked into it at first, which I did, I read a little bit, and then I stopped for a long time, and then I came back and I read some more, and then I stopped for a long time, and then I read some more, and then I got hooked, and I just kept reading, and I'm almost caught up now, but kind of not, but I'm getting there. I'm in the final act. Or the act. At the bottom here, you see these buttons. There's a save game, autosave, I don't use that one, because it's kind of annoying, load game, and delete game data. Never use the delete game data. Terrible decision. Don't do it. Because what do you know, you might want to come back to it at some point. But there's the save game button, and that literally saves the page you're on. So next time you open up the page, you can just click load game, and it takes you straight back to where you left off. It stays for months. I'm not even kidding. I left the comic for like months because I couldn't do it. Didn't have patience for how slow it was going. And then I came back and I was like, oh, click, load game, bam, right where I left off. But it's really super duper handy. So yeah, it's long. And yeah, it's got a slow start. And yeah, it's confusing. And yeah, the art isn't absolutely amazing. Like, if you've seen fan art of it somewhere around, like Tumblr, YouTube, whatever, the fan art is amazing. I've seen some glorious fan art of this. And it's beautiful, and it varies, and it's great. The actual art is like a step up above stick figures, and that's okay. It basically stays the same. But you do get more stylized pieces later on, and they do look great, and in some of the sound pages you get full-on, like, beautifully drawn screen cap type images, and they're great. But mostly, it's like, you don't read Homestuck for the art. That's not why you read it. You read it for the story. And it's an amazing story. Ugh. And it does swear. I don't know about you, but I'm kind of weird about my story. Like, I don't like hearing it. If it's textual, like, okay. You know, whatever. But I don't like hearing it. You don't hear it in Homestuck. It's all in text. If swearing's not your thing and you don't like it, that's okay. Don't read it. That's fine. But if it doesn't bug you, hey, it's a great story.